want personal freedom is what it is, okay? Keep that in mind at all times. Thank you.
Okay. Well, Happy New Year, everyone. Yeah, 1st of January. And quite disturbing, I found out today that the Australian government is going to ban vape pens. These things. Why are they going to ban them? I don't know. It seems like what I just said then. It's not a war on drugs, it's a war on personal freedom. That's what it is, okay? Keep that in mind at all times, thank you. So, it's crazy what's going on in this world. The hypocrisy is unpalatable. I cannot understand how society is tolerating it. So, tobacco kills over 20,000 people in Australia every year. All right? That's a fact. We need to deal in facts. Going forward, society needs to deal in facts. And I want to start a political party that deals in facts because there's too much fucking bullshit. So with over 20,000 deaths from tobacco every year, you'd think you would just ban tobacco. Oh, no, you don't do that. Well, why not? Well, blind man could see public accept it. It's not part of their brainwashing. Ecstasy that kills 6 people every year is more dangerous than tobacco that kills over 20,000 a year. It's just ludicrous, absolutely ludicrous. Over 4,000 people die of alcohol every year. That's not just drinking it. That's probably about 1,800 people from just drinking and overdosing on alcohol. Much more than any other drugs combined. But the others are car accidents, murders, just people doing stupid stuff when they're drunk. Why don't we ban it? Well, "14 countries throughout the world have. And in the 1920s to the 1933, America actually banned alcohol. It was prohibited but doctors could prescribe it if you had a medical need for it. What a lot of fucking bullshit. That's total fucking bullshit. This is the same bullshit we're dealing with today. There's 6 people who died from MDMA. They died because they were mixing it with other drugs. There was police at the gate for a festival, and the people panicked and didn't want to get arrested with the drug dogs, so they took their whole dose, which was meant to last them for a weekend, in one go. Or it was shit made from criminal networks, bikie gangs, etc. And they overdosed because pill testing was illegal. Fuck off. Pill testing should not be illegal. So you got 6 from MDMA, over 20,000 from nicotine, and over 4,000 from alcohol. And then of all the other deaths, about 45% are from opioids. And that's largely including legal on prescription opioids, methadone, tramadol, and fentanyl. So legality doesn't work. Heroin was a large proportion as well, but that is not a psychedelic. It's not a entheogen, and it doesn't enter into the decriminalisation. Well, it should be decriminalised, but not legalised. Legalisation should be entheogens. So benzodiazepines were 32% of deaths in Australia, and they're all prescribed by doctors. They're antidepressants, but people overdose on them and mix them with other stuff and kills them. And stimulants like methamphetamines, about 27%. Those percentages might be up or down or whatever, but that's what I could research on Google. Now, when it comes to our indigenous populations, of all the deaths of drugs in 2023, 20% were Aboriginals. How fucked is that? So the white man comes and steals this country from the Aboriginals who have lived here for 60,000 years. 40,000 maybe, it's debatable. They've been doing DMT. They've been looking after the nature. They've been living their best life. White man comes in and tells them, you must drink alcohol and smoke tobacco. You can't speak your language. We're going to take you away from your parents. What a fucking disgrace. Absolutely fucking disgraceful what we did to them. What have you seen since then? They're trying to find their way in the white man's world. It's not working for them. They're spiritual people connected to nature. I've been doing DMT for tens of thousands of years. And now they've just got to drink alcohol. And if they try to do anything natural, they get put in jail. Absolutely disgraceful. What we do to these indigenous populations throughout the world. It's the same with the American Indians with peyote, or Peru with ayahuasca, or whatever. White man came in and said, we're taking away your entheogens, your natural things you've been doing for millennia to give you spiritual connected to nature and look after nature, blah, 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 blah. And we're going to make you just do tobacco and alcohol, the most dangerous drugs ever. And in 1961, the United Nations agreed, and over 150 countries agreed And then that's shaped the way for drug policy ever since. It's fucking ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I guarantee you right today, if facts provided the policy direction in 1961 and 1971 with the psychedelic addition to the United Nations ban on drugs, the facts would have banned alcohol and tobacco, the two most dangerous ones, and opioids, and then made all of the natural entheogens, which have been proven safe, and they are safe even today, they would have been legalized. So the white man, the Pope, the church come in and took America and said, this is our country, and the Indians go, no, it's not. And all of that taken away cultures of indigenous populations around the earth and forcing them to consume alcohol and tobacco. Major detriment to them, to their people, and still going on today. All around the world, there are indigenous populations in jail because they can't afford the tax on the alcohol. They're too poor, so they smoke their local product and get put in jail. There's people in jail all around the world. There's people in jail in Australia for having magic mushrooms. Magic mushrooms are not dangerous if education allows the safe consumption of them. MDMA is not dangerous with education around it. Australia's just legalised magic mushrooms and ecstasy, MDMA, psilocybin. We've legalised it. Who have we legalised it for? We've legalised it for the rich elite of the country who can afford $25,000 to $35,000 out of pocket expenses for one single dose. Are you serious? So, in Cottesloe or Crawley or Nedlands, Western Australia's perspective here, we have a lady who thinks, oh, I'm scared of dying. I might want to do some MDMA, and then I might want to do some psilocybin. And the doctor goes, oh, it's going to cost you $25,000 for that dose and $25,000. I've got $50,000. I can do it. Yes, no problem. Okay. So the psychiatrists, the psychologists, the pharmaceutical companies all make money out of it. They have amazing experience. They realise what hippies have been realising since the 1960s and 70s, and even before the President Nixon, 1961, war on drugs. The research into these miracle molecules was very, very, very encouraging for the betterment of human psyche. But somehow it was made illegal and it was banned, and then everyone's been ostracised ever since. Even to today, I'm sworn to silence by my family, which I will not be silenced, because I know that the policies and history has been wrong, and I am going to do my best to correct it, because I've seen it. And I've actually seen it through breaking through on DMT on many occasions and knowing. And then since knowing and not realizing why I know, I'm then starting to research. And now I'm researching, I realize that it's not only my policy, DMT can and should save humanity and will if enough people know about it. But now I'm realizing there's not only DMT. DMT is what I discovered this with. But the Indians will do peyote. The Peruvians will do ayahuasca, which is DMT. But DMT is like 5 minutes, no side effects, no addiction, and then you're good to go again. Ayahuasca is a commitment of 5 hours where you could poo your pants or vomit. They call it purging. But anyway, I digress. These entheogens, even marijuana, which I cannot tolerate personally. I get too paranoid, but other people praise it. These are not drugs that are going to harm people. These are not dangerous drugs. These are miracle natural molecules which are part of human evolution, which are going to make us better. They're going to stop wars. They're going to end religion. When people start discovering their own spiritual connectedness to nature and the universe, they will no longer believe in a child molesting priest who says, you must believe in God or you'll go to hell, and if you suck my penis, you will go to heaven. Or a suicide bomber saying, oh, if you put this on your thing and praise to Allah and go and kill yourself with 100 other people, you'll get 100 virgins in heaven. This fucking bullshit. People will know. They will know. And all the megalomaniacs will know, because the megalomaniacs, the ego will be sucked out of them. And they'll be like, holy shit, what the fuck was that? That's a pretty common understanding when you break through on DMT. Everybody I know that's broke through on DMT says the same thing. What the fuck? What the fuck? So, yeah, maybe that should be the religion, what the fuck. But it is definitely a turning point in humanity where we are either going to go towards extinction or towards nirvana. And there's no way to do it through diplomacy, democracy, education. It's too late. The climate, humanity, the wars, Ukraine, the poor people getting killed, the Russians getting killed, cannon fodder because of one man's ego. Disgusting. On an epic scale, disgusting. How can one man have that power? It's just not logical. It's not acceptable. Same with the oppression of the Arabs in the Gaza Strip. If I walked in their shoes from the day they were born, I would be doing what they did. They're an oppressed people in their own land, which is debatable through the centuries and millennia. But they are oppressed and they are poor. 75% unemployment rate. You know, we've got 3% in Australia. Oh, go big fucking violin, world's biggest violin playing from here with 3% unemployment. They got 75%. And that was before they went to war. So, you know, you wonder why these people do these things. I guarantee you, if you were in their footsteps from the day they were born, you would do exactly the same. And if they were in your steps, they would be doing what you did. We have no say in what vagina we pop out of when we're pulled down from the soul pool of the 7 billion people and pushed out. Wherever you are, that's your lot in society. And that's not right. So if you're born out of Elon Musk's missuses, you're the richest in the world. And if you're born out of someone in Gaza who's been oppressed by a whole life, then that's your world. No, that's not the way it should be. That's not the way it's meant to be. We need a global equalisation and reckoning. And that can only come with radical intervention. And I know exactly what that is. And I think other people do too. But selling it is very fucking hard. That is everybody becoming spiritually aware themselves through the use of entheogens. And when I say entheogens, that is a terminology that was released to counteract the negative stigma attached to the term psychedelics. And then one step further is the negative stigma attached to the terminology drugs. So drugs that are provided by pharmaceuticals are okay, but drugs are provided by all the criminal organisations around the world who are filling the gap because of the global war on drugs are not okay. And this needs to end. We no longer need to feed criminal organisations around the world. Every single country has criminal organisations that distribute drugs, and every single human can get hold of any drug they want to, and it's untaxed, and it's feeding crime and murder and deaths. How can we not see this, that the war on drugs has failed miserably, catastrophically failed, and yet the Australian government is still continuing the war on drugs by banning. I agree with banning today single-use vape pens because they're not good for the environment. But banning reusable vape pens on the 1st of March, are you serious? You're dictating as a government that the legal tobacco that you can go and smoke in a cigar or a cigarette and you can tax it, and that's the way that people have been doing it for centuries, is okay. But if a millennial or whatever these new little creatures growing up, these future earth rulers, if they don't like the dry smoke and they want to have a nice tasting watermelon or vanilla or popcorn flavour, then they cannot take their nicotine with flavour. They need to go to the nicotine dry and proven to kill them. And this one could be better or it could be worse. Or maybe they might not even want that much nicotine. They might just like the flavour. It might be a recreational thing, or they might think they're cool. How dare the Australian government or any global government dictate how someone wants to consume their particular legal drug of choice? This is totally ludicrous to me. I cannot understand what they're doing. I believe there's a bigger agenda there. And what it is they realise that people are also putting DMT into healthy juice and sucking it instead of smoking it through a crack pipe and looking like a druggie and being more harsh for their lungs. Other people are putting marijuana in their vape pipes. So all these vape pipes around there, with all these different substances that are in there, they're losing control, so they want to regain control. Well, that is wrong. Because the most harmful drugs are tobacco and alcohol. And going forward, the global policy on prohibition needs to be based on 100% scientific, medical, proven facts and statistics and nothing to do with propaganda, political point scoring. It's factual based, and based on the facts, tobacco and alcohol and heroin are the most dangerous, and entheogens are the safest. So if you are going to ban entheogens being used through vape pens to make people more spiritually aware and more connected with the nature, themselves, civilization, the universe, then that is total hypocrisy, and it's totally wrong, and it's against human rights. So I really want to start a political party in Western Australia and take it to the world and let us be an example. We are the first country to legalise magic mushrooms and ecstasy, but we're only legalising it for a select few under a banner of pharmaceutical. Well, I can tell you from personal experience that it's fucking good for a 26-year-old boy who's taken ecstasy at the left bank on a Sunday and gone to work at Alcoa Wagerup on a Monday. Instead of just doing his job like he did last week, working on top of the tanks, he looked at the skies and appreciated the world better. Now, I knew that when I was 26. I'm now 54. So I've always been an advocate for ecstasy. But Jesus Christ, whenever I've tried to explain it to anyone, you're ostracised. You're a druggie. Now they've realised that it's good for post-traumatic stress disorder, pre-death anxiety, depression, suicidal tendencies. If it's good for all those things, I'm telling you from personal experience, it's good for every single person who wants to do it. Any single person on this planet who wants to kill themselves should be given these free. Any single person who's worried about dying should be given these free. And psilocybin as well. It's the same thing. It shouldn't be for the rich elite. There should be no profit made from it, from the pharmaceutical giants. It should be all free, provided by the government. The CSIRO are currently working on pharmaceutical grade DMT, and then also working on at the same time with, I think it's South Australia, plantations or some sort of tree growing thing. What's the strongest DMT producing? Acacia. Acacia is our Australian national flower, and it contains DMT. They're looking at what's got the highest. How can we make it more potent through genetics? How can we make it grow faster? How can we supply global demand? But I can guarantee it's all driven by greed through the pharmaceutical giants. This is bullshit. It's got to be free. Nobody can own nature. Nobody can own any of these entheogens. Humanity owns them, and people should be allowed to make them themselves without fear of being classified as a manufacturer of drugs. They should be able to hold enough quantity to keep their family and friends on a spiritual journey on a long weekend with enough dose to keep them going. So the thresholds for possession are totally out of control, where you're a dealer. But I'm not even talking about thresholds. Let's forget about that. It's got to be just legalised. Forget about decriminalisation and thresholds.